Hello, I'm Roger Baker, Executive Director of the Stratfor Center for Applied Geopolitics at RANE. This podcast is brought to you by RANE Worldview, the premier digital publication for objective geopolitical intelligence and analysis. Find out how RANE can help you stay ahead of global events at ranenetwork.com.
You are listening to the Essential Geopolitics podcast from RANE, and this is the most significant podcast you are going to hear all week. Today, we're talking about Indonesia. How much do you know about Indonesia? Are you aware of its growing influence in the Asia-Pacific region? Well, Scott Kardas is. He's RANE's Asia-Pacific analyst, and he joins us now. Welcome, Scott.
Hi, Emily.
So let's talk about Indonesia. As I said in the lead, it has taken a place of growing influence in its region. What's going on?
Well, Indonesia is currently sitting in a pretty powerful position. They are the president of the G20, the 20 most prosperous nations in the world. And next year, they will be president of ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. This position allows them to exercise a lot more influence by tabling specific agendas that they are really concerned with that may be overlooked by other people if other countries were in charge of the G20 or ASEAN. Additionally, you recently had President Joko Widodo, or Jokowi. He went to Kyiv, and then he went to Moscow, and he was one of the first leaders to visit Zelensky and Putin in person, and he's been trying to broker peace, or at least have Indonesia play a role in some of the peacemaking process in the Ukrainian conflict.
Okay, so let's talk a little further. Why is all of this happening right now?
Well, as I said, Indonesia is the president of the G20, and since they're president of the G20, they host various summits that, bring in high-ranking officials from all these countries. You have finance ministers, and you'll have world leaders at a summit in Bali in November. And it's a very, very big meeting. It's one of the rare times that all these world leaders sit down in one place. And there's expected to be a lot of discussions, obviously surrounding Ukraine and that crisis, but the big split between the West, Russia, and China. And we're expecting to see Indonesia and other countries really pushing a climate change agenda in this upcoming summit as well.
Talk to us about why this is important and what it will mean for Indonesia or even the region as a whole.
It's important because whether or not people think that they have a lot to do with Indonesia, maybe their business or geopolitics, Indonesia its geographic location is very important. You have 70+% of world trade, maritime trade specifically, going through that region. You see a lot of it going through Singapore Straits. Trade in and out of China, in and out of Asia, goes all through Indonesian waters. And if Indonesia is going to be taking a bigger role in geopolitics, in regional development, and start to lead the region, its policies, its norms, and things that it starts to do is going to affect how business is done. We could see countries like Malaysia start to follow suit. We've already seen Indonesia heavily impacting global markets with their coal export ban in January, and recently their palm oil export ban when they stopped exporting palm oil, which sent big shockwaves throughout the region and kind of even hit some markets in the United States with cooking oil prices rising as a result of this too. Some of the norms that Indonesia starts to introduce will definitely impact how different businesses and then consumers get their products. We've already seen companies like Tesla looking at investing directly in Indonesia to source some of their battery technology. And whether or not people understand it, our extraction of natural resources and the refining of them, it used to just be very simple. You extract the ores in Indonesia and then you refine them somewhere else and then you get your finished product, let's say in the United States. But it's going to change the way the supply chains work and how consumers get it, because now Indonesia might be able to force more countries and more companies to do all of that stuff in Indonesia. So you're going to see them exercising a lot more influence over the global trade, over multinational companies and supply chains, specifically some of these high value things like electric vehicles and battery technology. These are some of the two very important industries that Indonesia is really trying to get their hands on, and they definitely will change how things are going for consumers in the West.
Scott Kardas is an Asia-Pacific analyst with RANE. Scott, thanks for that.
You're welcome. Anytime. Thank you for having me.
You can read Scott's work in Worldview, which is RANE's geopolitical intelligence solution. With interactive graphics, risk trackers, and global threat monitoring, Worldview is setting the standard for geopolitical intelligence. Sign up for a trial at ranenetwork.com. That's RANE network.com. I'm Emily Donahue, and I thank you for listening.